targeted. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a worldwide protocol. There's no doubt in my mind that the lawyers are scared of this. The lawyers are scared of this.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. I know you're not a racist or a bigot, but are your targets all white? Are they black and white? Are they Asian black and white? I mean, do they
99.9% are Caucasian.
Okay,
99.9%. The only thing
I am a bit racist. That would seem to me that you're being targeted by some type of government agency. Why? What have you done?
I have done nothing. What I'm telling you is targeting is not something that I'm making up. It is real. Targeting, TI, targeted individual. It is real, and actually, what it tells me, what I've heard, excuse me, is people that. Hang on, I'm going to cough one time here.
That's fine.
People that are black.
Chuck, I'm sorry. Just a quick question. Do you smoke cigarettes?
People that are black get targeted by black people. People who are of other races get targeted by other races.
So does the person who live in California get targeted by Asians?
I don't know. You have to ask her.
Yeah, she'll
That's
never
a good
answer that question. Chuck, do you smoke cigarettes?
No, I do not.
Okay, I just wondered because of the cough, but maybe,
Oh, no, well, I only coughed one time.
Well, what do you do to relax, Chuck? You're always so, I know you're trying to get the word out, but it seems like you're trying to get the word out 24 hours a day. What do you do to relax? Let us know.
Because you can't buy me. The reason I'm trying to get the word out 24 hours a day is because these guys screwed with me daily, every frigging time that I left my RV that I lived in. Between 2006 and 2010, these guys screwed with me relentlessly. There is no doubt. I don't need a shrink to tell me they did or didn't do it, or I don't need some pill to come down from it. So now I'm mad. I'm really mad about this.
What do you do to relax, Chuck? You've already told us your name. What do you do to relax? You obviously don't take Xanax or Valium because you don't see a doctor or a shrink. You don't feel you need that. You don't drink. I'm guessing you don't drink to excess. I know you drink a beer. What do you do to relax?
I guess I don't relax.
Don't you think that is a problem that needs to be addressed with
mental
health
I think the problem that needs to be addressed, you can't trust the mental health professionals. You can't trust them. They know about this issue of organized stalking. They're in on it. They're part of the harassment. They're playing dumb. Why would you go to somebody who you don't?
Chuck?
Never.
Okay, because I was thinking maybe there was a connection if you had, gotten a dishonorable discharge in some way.
I already said never.
So nothing to go with there. Okay. My whole thing is that you're going to get the word out to 12 people on TalkShoe.
I don't think so. I just got done addressing that issue. This recording is going in the public domain. That means anybody who's listening to it owns it, can do what you want with it. You can copy it, you can paste it into your website, you can cut it up, you can paste it, chunks of it. You do whatever you want with it. So
okay,
I don't know why I have to keep answering that question.
Okay, we'll move on. I'm concerned with. I think you're targeting. If knowing about targeted individuals from what I've learned from you and the other people that host, is that it stems from something or somewhere. Now you've shared with us that you worked for a company that supplied something to some government agency. Were you working for a military or a defense contractor?
Possibly, yeah. The units possibly went into. I have never thought about that. I never did anything illicit or anything like that. But I would say that yeah, some of the material that we manufactured did go into government vehicles of some type. Maybe even who knows what they went into. I didn't need to know. Okay,
the first time I heard you speak to News Guy, you said you had a problem with some type of, I believe it was large retailer, and I thought that was where your targeting started. Have you done any further investigation on that particular retailer? Have you addressed them with letters?
I think you're never going to know. Like I said, I think my targeting started way back in the 80s. I think it follows you through life. I don't think... so I don't know why I said that to News Guy. If I did, I believe I was wrong. Because I don't think you're ever going to know why you're on the list. Who put you on the list? I think, you're not going to know why you're on the TI, the targeted individual list. You're not going to know.
Okay, do you believe the targeted individuals who claim that they're hit with microwaves or laser beams and things like that, and are you affected by that type of targeting?
No, I'm not, and I have my doubts about it. Actually, the one thing on all these calls around here at TalkShoe.com, there's all these crazy talkers, and they make up all kinds of nonsense. And I see some guy in the room here now, the dog guy. I don't want to say his name because it's gross.
Right,
but
okay.
He thinks all the TIs are nuts, and they are. They're nuts talkers. That's the deal. He's right, dog guy. You're right. They're crazy talkers. Almost every call, of which there are a dozen or 18 of them here on TalkShoe, with the exception of mine, they're crazy talkers. They're making crap up. They make up nonsense. It's just ludicrous. And they stick to it, and they sound so good. By the way, when I first got here, back in the fall of 2010, when I found TalkShoe, the late summer, the fall of 2010, they used to tell their crazy story, and then they'd laugh. Nobody's going to believe this. Nobody's going to believe it. And they'd tell a story, and they'd laugh about it. But one day... And so I knew they were making it up. But one day they quit laughing. When they said, "Oh no, you got to tell your lies and you got to sound like you mean it." So I'm telling you, there is an army. Are you still there?
I'm listening. Still there? It's an open mic.
Okay, there is an army of people around here that just make up stuff. And I could name all their names, but
you don't believe that things like you're being targeted with some type of chemical attacks, or the planes flying above that chemtrails are poisoning you?
I don't know about the chemtrails, but I do believe in chemical attacks, and I'll tell you why. Because the last place I lived, there was one smell up near the door that I get from time to time, and then there was one smell near the patio door that opened up. There were like two distinctly different smells, really toxic, nasty, stinking smells. And I would say a couple of dozen times, maybe 18, I don't know how many, a lot of times. And at this place where I'm living now, I don't smell anything right now. I am pacing though, but I don't smell anything now. I smell nothing. But I have smelled, in the past, I have smelled maybe a dozen times. I even taped it one time. Let me tell you something, a story about that. Who was I talking to? Who was I talking to on the phone? I forget. I was talking to somebody on the phone, and she was being Kim attacked down in the Bay Area. I don't know. I forget who it was. But anyway... It was like the perps' big deal was let's get them both at the same time with a different smell. I'm telling you, and we even did a recording of it. The recording, by the way, which I'm sorry to say, somebody with TalkShoe powers. It's either TalkShoe.com, where we are now, and where my show number 120297 is, or somebody. Killed that show. That's too bad, too, because I think it was a pretty credible recording. I'm telling you, this smell, this toxic smell, that came out of nowhere like about, in a half a minute later, I made sure that my window was open. I made sure that my heat was shut off. And then I came right back. And I'm telling you, I was still sweating 15 minutes later as we were talking. And she was, I don't, whatever. I wish that they hadn't killed those calls. I really wish they hadn't killed those calls. I promise you I did not. Do you have any idea
what chemical was being used? Did you do research on it or anything like that?
How do you know what? You don't even know where it's coming from.
Just mentioned some symptoms that were going on.
Whatever. No, I didn't
whatever's not an answer.
I don't know. I just said I don't know. I don't know. By the way, I think some smells that they inflict on you. I'm going to turn the fan on me, so this might. Some smells that they inflict on you, you may not even smell. You may not even be able to smell. By the way, this one person, when I first realized that I was a TI, a targeted individual, gang-stalked, I was telling somebody about it, 2 people. And this one, she told me that there was this house that she lived in, and there were 5 different smells in 5 different rooms of that house. Toxic smells, just awful toxic smells. And I thought about that because I only smelled 2 at the place that I lived. Of course, the place I lived was a small apartment. And this place, just the 1 smell. But there you go. That's chemical.
Okay.
But that's
okay.
But
now the woman that had 5 smells.
Let me say something. Let me say
No. Hold on a second.
That's boots on ground.
Hold on a second.
That's boots on ground.
The woman who had 5 smells in her apartment. Why did you not team up with her to find out what the hell was going on and why you had 2 smells or 1 smell and she had 5 smells? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, for one thing, she's many miles away, many miles away. And she doesn't want to talk about it. I've tried to talk to her about it, and she just says, "Live life." That's her advice. Which I don't want, by the way. I don't want to just live life. I want to get this word out about organized stalking of targeted individuals. I don't have a price. I want to get this word out.
Well, I'm giving you an open mic, but I think you should live life, my man.
It's fine. You live life. I want to get the word out. I want to get the word out about organized stalking of targeted individuals.
But there's a time for getting the word out, and there's a time for
the time right now
Chuck.
is getting the word out. Chuck Langenberg, that's my real name.
Yeah,
and
Chuck
I want to get the word out.
needs to, devote a little time to Chuck Langenberg.
Okay, thanks for the advice. Can we move on now to another issue?
We can move on. I'm still curious about the pets. Like, do you think they can use animals in any way to target you, like, I don't know, squirrels or chipmunks or even mice, like release them on you to mess with your head? Is there any kind of animal use?
Are you going to finish this question anytime soon? No, I don't think that they have used animals against me, but I do want to say something. When I had my RV up in Seattle, there in the middle of the day I would be like out, laying in the RV, laying on the couch, look at the ceiling or whatever, and I hear this like a squirrel sound on the roof. I'm like, God, that's odd. So I walked outside. And there's no squirrel on the roof. And then the other place where I heard that was when I was down in Oregon. One time I heard it. The same sound, like scratch, 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 scratch. It's like there's a squirrel up on a roof, and I think it was a gadget up on the roof. By the way, but I believe I have answered your question. So they weren't. I don't think it was a real squirrel. It was just like the sound of a squirrel, scratch, 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 scratch. By the way, the last place I lived, there was tapping on the wall. Right next to me, right from the door or from the side of the wall where the cop lived. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. And then one day there was some tapping on the other side of the wall. And then one day there's some tapping on the floor above me. And that is weird. And so I'm telling this story and this was after I